Welcome to Timeless Reads, a classics podcast.
Great to be diving into another classic.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's unpack this. We're diving into a truly unsettling piece of literature today. We're looking at excerpts from Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis.
Just the opening, really in the immediate aftermath. We're using the source text itself to sort of pull out the core of it.
Exactly. Our mission here is to really get at the essence of this book, maybe understand why The Metamorphosis still disturbs us so much. You know, the setup, it's instantly famous. You wake up one morning from, well, uneasy dreams and find yourself a gigantic insect.
Yeah, it's one of the great opening lines, isn't it? And the text wastes no time. It details the physical shock immediately. Gregor Samsa wakes up, he's on his back, he's this gigantic insect, hard shell, these numerous little legs waving around.
And what the sources make immediately clear, and this is what's so fascinating, so kind of Kafkaesque, Gregor's first reaction isn't really existential horror, is it? Not about being a bug anywhere.
No, not at all. It's remarkably mundane, almost bafflingly so.
He's just annoyed. He's thinking about how uncomfortable he is, how hard it is to just, turn over in bed. And his biggest worry,
Missing work.
missing work. As a traveling salesman, it's incredible.
Right. And the text really highlights his fixation on the job, the brutal routine he had, the pressure to catch that early train. It strongly suggests, doesn't it, that his life was maybe already kind of lacking in humanity.
Yeah, like his identity was just completely wrapped up in being the provider, the salesman.
Exactly. And this struggle, this physical struggle to just get out of bed with this new alien body, it feels like a physical version of the psychological weight he was already carrying.
That makes sense. And that external pressure, the job pressure, it shows up pretty fast when he doesn't emerge for his usual morning train. His family, his mother, his father, his sister greet. They start calling to him, knocking.
First concern then. Impatience, maybe.
Yeah.
And then it really escalates with the arrival of the chief clerk from his firm.
Oh, yeah, the boss's representative.
And the source paints this picture of really intense professional pressure. The clerk isn't just checking in. He's there to personally demand an explanation. He even emphasizes Gregor's flawless 5 years of service, the firm's expectations.
It just hammers home how much Gregor's value, in their eyes, was tied solely to his function, his job.
Completely. Meanwhile, Gregor's trapped inside. He's desperately trying to communicate, trying to, explain himself. But the text describes his voice. It's changed.
Right, into what? Some kind of unintelligible chirping.
Exactly. He can't make himself understood. And trying to unlock the door with that body, it's this clumsy, almost pathetic struggle. You really feel his helplessness.
It's awful. The tension just builds and
Yeah.
builds until he finally manages it. He gets the door open.
And that reveal, the sources describe it as just horrifying for everyone involved. His family, the chief clerk, they see him, this monstrous vermin.
And the reactions are instant. The clerk.
Please,
Yeah.
just turns and runs out of the apartment in complete repulsion,
Yeah.
visceral reaction.
To family.
His mother collapses. His father reacts with, well, anger, hostility. He grabs a walking stick, ready to drive Gregor back. It's immediate rejection.
So what's so revealing here, and this speaks maybe to the essence of the book, drawn right from these opening pages, the real drama isn't actually the impossible transformation itself. It's the human reaction to it.
Precisely. The focus shifts immediately. It becomes about exclusion, revulsion, the total collapse of Gregor's identity, not in his own mind initially, but in the eyes of those around him. That's perhaps why it's still so disturbing.
Yeah, it taps into some deep fears, doesn't it? About belonging, about being seen.
And the sources show us that this initial reaction, this horror and disgust, it really sets the stage for everything that follows in the story.
Right, like his confinement to the room.
It was confinement, yeah, and the family's attitudes changing so quickly from that initial concern to seeing him as just a burden and disgusting inconvenience. It fuels the father's later violence, the famous Apple incident is mentioned.
Which happens later, yeah.
And eventually, it leads to them bringing in lodgers who completely displace Gregor within his own home, his own space. The mundane, difficult reality of dealing with this inconvenient, unproductive thing replaces the initial shock. The horror becomes practical.
So thinking about the main idea, what this all means, this opening section, just using the source text, it throws us headfirst into this totally absurd situation, but it uses that absurdity to highlight some really profound, really unsettling truths, doesn't it? About human connection, identity, value.
Definitely. It forces you, the reader, to confront how quickly our perceived worth can just evaporate when we can no longer fulfill the roles people expect of us, or maybe more terrifyingly, when our external form just deviates too much from the norm.
It makes our sense of self feel incredibly fragile.
Which leads to, I think, a core question the book leaves us with. If our identity and our value are so tightly bound to our function, our job, our appearance, how do we really react, when those things are suddenly stripped away? And what does that vulnerability reveal about the very nature of belonging and connection?
It's a question that certainly lingers long after you've read it. A truly timeless and disturbing classic.
Indeed.
Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thank you for joining us on Timeless Reads, a Classics podcast.
Hope you found it insightful.
If you enjoyed our discussion, please do like, subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment with your own thoughts on the Metamorphosis. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time.